What was your "that's not what I expected" story? When I was 17, I worked at a grocery store with a guy named Brian. Normal guy, mid-20s, didn't really think much of him. One day he tells me about how he lives in an apartment by himself and that his neighbors are absolutely crazy. Like they would yell at him to be quiet, pound against the wall to get him to shut up, even though he wouldn't be doing anything. He would sneeze, and his neighbors would scream at the top of their lungs from next door. A couple days went by and I noticed that Brian wasn't showing up anymore. Whatever. Didn't think much of that either. A month or two goes by and he finally shows back up to work. I asked him where he's been. He tells me he was actually fired because he was in the hospital. I asked him why he was in the hospital, and he told me it was for personal reasons. I told him it was good having him back. Fast forward a couple days to me talking to another coworker. He says, "Did you hear what happened to Brian?" "Yeah, he was in the hospital and was fired or something." "Do you know why though?" "No, he said it was personal." So this is what happened a couple months ago before Brian disappeared. He was at home by himself when his neighbors started yelling at him through the walls for being too loud. Brian told himself, "I've had enough," and decided to call the police and have them deal with it. The police arrived and started talking to the neighbors for quite some time. Hours go by with the police and neighbors, so he calls the police again to ask what's taking so long. The police respond with, "We left like an hour and a half ago." Turns out that the neighbors were never yelling at him. Brian was schizophrenic and was hearing voices in his head. He had to go to a mental hospital for a month.